Hey, you. Okay, April 15th, 2025. Feeling that.
Yeah.
That little knot of tax stress, maybe.
Yeah, it happened.
We definitely get it. But today, we're doing a deep dive into something that might help. The tax
A
extension.
very useful tool, yeah.
It's not, a magic wand, but it's seriously helpful if you know how it works.
Right.
So our mission today is pretty simple. Break down what a tax extension really is, help you figure out if it's maybe a smart move for you this year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll walk through how to file one and then, what happens next in the whole tax timeline.
And we're basing this on, publicly available info. Stuff from the IRS, general research anyone can find.
Exactly. Just trying to distill the key insights. Let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, understanding these little nuances like the extension can genuinely save a lot of anxiety. It's a perfect example of a tool that, used right, is a real asset.
Okay, so let's tackle the big one first. What is a tax extension? Because I think that word extension might kind of give people the wrong idea.
Yeah, that's the key.
Like they just hit snooze on everything tax related.
That is the number one thing to clear up right away. So
Yes.
a federal tax extension, specifically filing Form 4868, it gives you an extra 6 months, but only to prepare and submit your tax return.
6 more months. So not April 15th, 2025, but...
October 15th, 2025. That's your new deadline just for getting the paperwork filed.
Okay, paperwork deadline. But here's the bit we really need to nail down. It doesn't give you more time to actually pay anything you owe, does it?
Precisely. 0 extra time for payment. That original April 15th deadline, it stays firm.
Right.
If you think you're going to owe the IRS money, they still expect that payment by April 15th. Otherwise, you could face penalties, interest.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
So the analogy might be like, you get more time to write the big term paper,
Yeah.
but the tuition fee, that was due way back at the start of the semester.
Exactly. Perfect analogy. More time for the paperwork, not for the payment.
Got it. Crystal clear now. And Form 4868, that's the official piece of paper, or, well, the form name we're talking about here.
Yes, that's the one. IRS Form 4868. The full title is something like Application for Automatic Extension of Time to File U.S. Individual Income Tax Return.
Catchy. Okay, so we get the basics. Filing extension, not payment extension. Form 4868 is the key. So, who should be thinking about this for 2025? It's not for absolutely everyone, right?
Definitely not. I mean, technically anyone can file for one, but it really becomes a strategic move in certain scenarios.
Strategic how?
Well, it's interesting. That extra time can actually lead to a more accurate return, maybe even a better tax outcome for you in the end.
Okay, tell me more. When should someone seriously think, yeah, maybe I should file for an extension?
A super common reason is just waiting on tax documents.
Like what?
Well, think about Schedule K-1s. If you're involved in a partnership or an S-corp, those often come out pretty late in the game.
Right, I've heard that.
Or if you're a freelancer, maybe an independent contractor, you might be waiting for a bunch of different 1099 forms from clients.
Chasing those down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Filing an extension just gives you that breathing room. You get everything together, file something complete and accurate, rather than, guessing or filing with missing pieces.
Makes total sense. Avoids the last-minute scramble and potential mistakes.
Yeah.
What else?
Another situation could be a last-minute financial move that has tax implications.
Right.
Like deciding to contribute to a traditional IRA right before the April deadline. That contribution can affect your taxable income, right? It needs careful calculation.
Oh, okay.
So an extension gives you the time to make sure that's reflected properly on your return. No rush, get the numbers right.
Good point. Last-minute contributions. What about people with maybe more complicated financial lives?
Oh, definitely. If you've got multiple income streams, maybe you're self-employed with lots of different projects, or you've dabbled in cryptocurrency.
Ooh, crypto. Yeah, that gets tricky.
Exactly. The tax rules there can be pretty complex. So the extra time from an extension, incredibly valuable, lets you organize everything, analyze the transactions, maybe even, importantly, talk to a tax pro, like a CPA.
Right. Use the time to get professional advice.
Yeah. They can help navigate those complex bits, make sure you report accurately, maybe even find deductions you missed related to that complex situation.
And let's face it, sometimes life just happens, right? You might just feel totally swamped.
Absolutely. Just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information, the tax code itself, it can feel daunting. If you're feeling that pressure, worried you'll make mistakes just trying to hit that April 15th date, filing for an extension is honestly the responsible thing to do.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
It prioritizes accuracy over just speed, and that can save you headaches, maybe even money down the line. Avoids errors that might get the IRS's attention.
Okay, so the big takeaway here seems to be better to file an extension and get it right than rush and risk messing up.
Pretty much, yeah.
So let's say someone's listened, they've weighed the options, and they think, okay, 2025, an extension is the way to go for me. How do they actually do it? What's the process like?
Good news is it's generally pretty straightforward. The IRS has made it fairly easy, offering a few different ways to request that extra time.
Okay, walk us through them. I bet a lot of people want the online option these days.
For sure, online is super popular. If your income is below a certain level, you might qualify for IRS Free File.
Ah, free file.
Yep. And that system can guide you through electronically filing Form 4868. Or even easier maybe, the commercial tax software lots of people use. Think TurboTax, H&R Block.
Yeah, the big names.
They almost all have a function built in to file an extension electronically. They basically send the form straight to the IRS for you.
Convenient. Okay, so free file or tax software. What about the old school paper method, mailing it in?
Still an option. You can definitely file by mail. You
Yeah.
just go to the IRS website, download Form 4868, fill it out, make sure it's accurate, and then mail it to the right address. The instructions tell you where. But the crucial thing here is the postmark.
Needs to be dated.
On or before April 15th, 2025. That postmark proves you filed on time. Miss that, and it doesn't count.
Postmark by April 15th. Got it. Crucial detail for the mail-in folks. Now, you mentioned something earlier. Making a payment can sometimes automatically get you an extension.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's another really handy option, actually. If you know you're going to owe taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you make an estimated tax payment electronically before the April 15th deadline, you can use IRS Direct Pay or the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, EFTPS.
AFTPS, right.
If you make that payment electronically, it usually automatically counts as your extension request.
Really? So you don't even need to file the form?
In most cases, no. The IRS sees the payment. They figure you need more time to file the full return. It's kind of built in.
That's a nice shortcut if you owe and plan to pay electronically anyway. Okay, but here's a really key point we touched on. What if you can't pay the full amount you owe by April 15th? Should you still file the extension?
Yes. Absolutely, 100% yes. This is critical.
Why that?
Even if you can't pay your estimated tax bill in full by the deadline, you should still file for the extension if you need more time for the paperwork.
Okay.
Filing the extension avoids the penalty for failing to file on time. That's a separate penalty from failing to pay.
Ah, okay, different penalties.
Exactly. Now, you will still owe interest and probably a late payment penalty on whatever amount you didn't pay by April 15th.
Yeah,
But
well,
paying whatever you can manage by April 15th, even if it's not the full amount, that will significantly reduce those penalties and interest charges. Plus, it shows the IRS you're making a good faith effort.
that makes a lot of sense. File the extension anyway, pay what you can, it helps.
Definitely helps mitigate the damage, so to speak.
Okay, so you've done it. You filed the extension, navigated the process. What happens next? What's life like after submitting that Form 4868?
Right, post-extension life.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing, the absolute most important thing, is that new deadline.
October 15th.
October 15th, 2025. Get that date circled on your calendar, set reminders, whatever you need. That's when the full, complete return absolutely must be submitted.
Mark the calendars, October 15th, 2025. Does the IRS, send you a confirmation? Yep, we got your extension request.
Generally, no, not usually. The exception is if you filed electronically through tax software.
Okay.
The software itself usually gives you an electronic confirmation, like transmitted successfully, accepted by IRS, something like that.
But if you mailed it out?
If you filed a paper form, you typically won't hear back from the IRS directly confirming it. But as long as you mailed it, got that postmark on or before April 15th, it's generally considered accepted.
So no news is good news, basically.
Pretty much. Though if you're worried, keeping a copy of the signed Form 4868 and your proof of mailing, like a certified mail receipt, that gives you peace of mind.
Good tip. Keep your records. Now, you've got this extra time, 6 whole months. How should you actually use it? It's not just permission to procrastinate until October,
Well,
right?
definitely not. That would defeat the purpose. No, the extension gives you valuable time, and you really want to use it proactively.
Oh, so.
Well, this is your chance to really get organized. Gather any documents you were missing, reconcile your bank statements, your business records, and, like we talked about, if your situation is even a little complex, this is the perfect window to consult with a CPA or another qualified tax pro.
Use the summer to get expert advice.
Exactly. They could look things over, give you guidance on tricky spots, help make sure you're claiming every single deduction and credit you're actually entitled to.
Which could save you money.
Absolutely. Doing this work proactively over the summer makes the actual filing in the fall way less stressful. No last-minute panic in October. Plus, you might uncover tax benefits you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Solid advice. Use the time wisely, strategically.
Yeah.
Don't just kick the can down the road. Now, you mentioned earlier, and this seems important, that state taxes might be different.
Yes. Very, very important point. Don't overlook this.
So the federal extension doesn't automatically cover your state taxes?
Not necessarily. It really varies state by state. Some states might automatically honor the federal extension. You don't need to do anything extra.
Okay, that's convenient.
But others might require you to file a completely separate state extension form, possibly with its own deadline.
Okay, so you could need 2 extensions.
Potentially, yes. It is absolutely essential to check the specific rules and requirements for your state's tax agency. Don't just assume the federal Form 48868 covers everything. Go to your state's Department of Revenue website or call them.
Crucial heads up, always check your state rules. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. Let's try and boil it down. What are the absolute key things for our listener to remember about tax extensions in 2025?
Okay, let's summarize. Key takeaways.
Yeah.
First, remember what it is and isn't. An extension gives you more time to file your federal return, pushing the deadline to October 15th, 2025. But, crucially, it does not extend the time to pay any taxes you owe. That payment deadline stays firm at April 15th.
Got it. Number 1, what's 2?
Second, if you want the extension, you have to ask for it by the original April 15th deadline. You do that by filing IRS Form 4868, either online through Free File or software, by mailing the paper form with that timely postmark, or sometimes automatically just by making electronic tax payment.
Okay, file by April 15th. Third point.
Third, even if you can't pay the full amount you think you'll owe by April 15th, it's still almost always a good idea to file the extension if you need more time for the paperwork, and pay whatever amount you can manage by April 15th.
Wow.
To minimize those potential penalties and interest charges on the unpaid amount. It helps.
It makes sense. And finally,
that extended deadline, October 15th. It's a valuable opportunity. Use that extra time wisely to get your documents together, maybe get professional help, and file an accurate, complete return. Avoid the fall rush.
fantastic summary. Clear and concise. So, okay, as you, our listener, are looking ahead to April 15th, 2025, just take a moment. Assess your situation honestly. Do you really need more time for the documents? Is your financial situation just extra complicated this year? Or are you just feeling, completely buried by it all?
It happens.
Knowing this extension option is there, it's legitimate, it's relatively easy to get.
Right.
Hopefully that takes some pressure off. Just keep remembering that key distinction file, don't pay.
Right.
So whether you decide, yep, extension it is, or nope, I'm going to buckle down and hit April 15th, taking some kind of proactive step right now, that's always the best approach.
Absolutely. And one final really important reminder. This deep dive, it's general information based on IRS publications, public research.
Right. We're not tax advisors.
Exactly. For advice tailored to your specific financial situation, your unique circumstances, please always consult with a qualified licensed tax professional, a CPA, an enrolled agent, someone who can give you personalized guidance.
Couldn't agree more. Get advice specific to you.